Hey, everybody. We are live. I'm going to share this to a couple of places, but feel free before we start recording if you jump on real quick and you say hi, go say hi to us.
Say hi.
Check in. Tell us how you're doing. I have a cat roaming around the desk, so this is a new obstacle course for me. Let's see here. The cat is literally in front of the screen. All right, hang on. All right, Dan. Hello, everyone. We hope you're doing well. Did you see the cattail just go across the
Yes,
camera?
I
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel so bad for him being in the bathroom. All right, let's see. We're going to share that to the Level Up group. Oh, Jesus, Dan. I'm going to fix this in just a second.
My dog's bark and Dan just puts his tail in the
Oh, boy.
camera.
Okay, buddy.
Oh, good boy,
All right,
Dan.
good boy. Oh,
If y'all don't remember, Dan had some surgery a couple weeks ago, so he's
oh,
recovering.
he's recovering and he's confined now to my office. So we are coexisting in a small
Yes,
space.
and he's lost his cone.
He's lost
So
his
that's
cone of
good.
shame. So, all right. Okay, so let me see who is on, and then we'll do our intro, and I hope you guys are having a good day. Um, are you having a good day? You look great, Mary.
Me?
Yeah.
I guess I'm the only one that you can see besides Dan. Thanks. Thanks.
You're,
I'm not sure why, but I was talking to somebody earlier and they go, you're sitting in your spot.
this is your spot, yes.
This has become my COVID spot in the house.
That is very true. Okay. All right, so just make sure. I'm sorry, everybody. Let's see. We're going to leave this page. Facebook is fun. Okay, all right, we're going to do our intro. You ready, guys? Bear with us as we go. Please feel free to comment and say hello. And if we don't say hi right away, we are seeing it coming through. And if you have questions and stuff, you can always put that through. And maybe at the end we can get to them. Okay, you ready, Mary?
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready.
Shouting into the ether.
Shout it out.
Welcome to Get Your Shoot Together, the photographer's podcast where we discuss studio, business life, and keeping it all in line. I am Kara Derryberry.
And I am Mary Fisk Taylor.
Now we got pew pews.
Pew
Pew
pew.
pew guns.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, friend.
Hi. How are you?
I am good, feeling fresh from the shower I had at 3
You are
o'clock.
so fresh. So fresh. Those bangs are killing it.
I'm going for the frat boy flip. Do you remember that look?
I actually do. It was like past my time, but I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure I was photographing seniors or
Yes,
something.
the frat boy flip is for those of you who are younger than me. It is where the boys would grow their bowl cuts out very long,
Yeah.
and I guess they would wear ball caps that would sort of smash it
And it
down,
would flip.
and it would cause the ends of
Yes.
it to flip. Right?
Fray up a little bit.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then I think they did it so often that it just permanently did that.
It was, yeah, it's like creased like
Yeah, it
that.
was creased like that. So there was a
Yeah.
frat boy flip, and that's what I have going on now. That is my COVID look, at least for this
Okay.
week.
Well, I think it's advisable to not cutting your bangs.
Oh, I'm not
I'm
gonna
a
do it.
not do it yourself kind of gal anyway. So, yeah, I will not be trying to cut my own hair.
No, no. Although I posted about it today on Facebook, and one of my clients posted, you could always get a Flowbee, and like sent me a link to they still sell Flowbees.
I know they do. I can't believe it, but
Who
it's true.
who is
They
this
sell
for?
they're probably making a resurgence, but they're probably, well, I don't know. I don't
I don't know
know.
either.
Maybe it was like had a, European market or
How
something.
simple is the haircut? And I know some men's haircuts are very simple,
Yeah.
right? But like, how simple is the haircut that all you have to do is pick a length and just go around your head like this, up and down? Like, how does it? That makes every piece of hair that you have the same length.
I'm gonna go. I don't know. I don't want to crap on the Flowbee, or I don't want to crap on anybody's haircut. But I'm just gonna say that a haircut like that is probably not a very special one.
It's probably
Like,
not. It's utilitarian for sure.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Right? Okay,
yeah.
but I don't know. I just can't figure out who the market is for that. But I bet their stock has skyrocketed.
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure people are buying the Flowbee. So yeah. Well, I'm just gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen. We're just gonna keep. I mean, if we start wearing hats, which we have threatened to do a
I
few
wore a hat all
times.
day.
You did. I actually have a picture of it. You sent it to me. I was saying, well, Kira, just like wear a hat. You have like a beret, a cowboy hat, a fedora. She goes, I'm wearing a baseball cap. And I was like, well, that's very pedestrian of you, but that's fine. If you want to wear a ball cap, wear a ball
I
cap.
am trying to train the frat boy flip um, into existence. That's, in fact, what I'm doing
Okay.
because I
All
have no
right.
other options style wise. The other option is to completely pull them back, which I think our viewing audience will see at some point.
Okay, like a little, like a barrette or a
Like
little bobby pin.
I have some bobby pin ideas. I have been on Pinterest.
Okay.
I haven't, I haven't had bangs in a long time. I do remember a time when I didn't have bangs, and when like even when they were long, and I was trying to get them
Right.
out of my, and I kind of had like a bouffant thing going on. So we'll see. It's very Gwen Stefani. We'll see. We'll see if we pull it back.
Oh, I like Gwen Stefani. And she does do a poofy thing very
She
well.
does do a
I
poofy
might
thing
add.
very well, but I'm not used to seeing my forehead anymore, and now I feel like I have body dysmorphia about my forehead. I didn't have a problem with my forehead before the bangs,
Mhm.
but now when I see them, my eyes can't adjust.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what I'd do if you showed up one day and I saw your face and you didn't have
I'm
bangs.
not going to do it today, but one day I will. I will have to. This is going
It's
to
going to
happen. Yeah,
happen.
it's going to happen.
Okay.
I can't go much longer. I mean, I've got them. They are freshly blow dried, which gives them a little bit of lift. But
Uh-huh.
if in a few hours, I'm going to have to pull them back. It's too
Right.
much. I
Okay.
can't take it.
Headband. You can wear a headband.
Oh, but then that's on the temples. That pressure you feel like I got a big head.
Yeah.
I can't support a headband, or perhaps a headband can't support me.
I was going to say, are we blaming it on the headband?
Yeah,
Okay. I see.
I have what you call a wide face.
You, I have a wide face. I
Well,
have a chubby face and a wide face. So I would, no, I don't, yeah. I'm not a big headband fan either, but I mean,
I'll
we
try.
don't know what this is gonna, mine's just going to be pulled back into like, I did a webinar last week and I just could not do anything with my hair
Mm.
and I didn't have time. Anyway, I just pulled it back in a little, you know, claw thing. This.
Oh, see that won't even. I don't even think that'll support my hair.
Okay, this is the extra large one and it won't really hold all of it, but it'll kind of hold it. Your hair's a lot longer than mine,
It is.
so I'm
It's the
sure.
length. It's yours is
Yeah.
thicker probably, but mine has the length. So
Yeah.
I got to share with you a funny thing that I did over
Okay.
Easter. Because the days are blending together, shall we
They
say?
are.
And I'm not. It one. I'm having very vivid dreams. I don't know if you
Okay.
have, and I think that's something we should discuss because I've read some articles that like people across the world are having more vivid dreams because their sleep schedules are so
Okay.
wild, you know?
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
last night, well, 2 nights ago, I know everyone loves hearing about dreams, but I assure you, you will not want to hear this. 2 nights ago, we were in Mexico, you and I,
Oh,
with a
we
group of
were.
friends, yes, and having a good time.
Were we
And
drinking margaritas?
we were having drinks for sure. I don't know if I
For
do
sure.
miss a good margarita because I can't make anything. But anyway, so there was a flash flood that was going to come through our little town, and I was the only one that could stop it. So I had to go and temporarily pause or hold off a body of water from killing us all. And so that's one dream that I had. And then last night I dreamt that I brutally murdered the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I know. I know. What does that mean? Like, what is that? What is, I mean,
What in the world?
why?
I don't
I think,
I actually I was with you on the Mexico trip
yeah,
and even you being able like Moses to
it's a
move
very
water or
biblical
yeah,
vacation dream.
very
Yes.
much so.
Hmm.
But the what did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do
I
to
don't know. I've
you?
always liked them.
Seriously.
I've always liked them. I have nothing. See here, so we come into the dream already committing the murder. Like not. I have.
Oh,
There's no exposition. I don't have any history. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I'm wrong, if I've been wronged, or if they've upset me, or if they have to die. I don't know. I don't know if I wasn't left with a. I'd like to think I wasn't left with a choice.
well, obviously. I mean, you're just not the kind of gal who'd go around and
Murdering.
slay
No.
very famous cartoon
No, like
characters.
very beloved cartoon characters from my childhood. Why? What am I doing? What is happening? And then the
Maybe you blame them for the corona.
turtles. Maybe,
Maybe. I mean,
maybe,
we don't know. We
maybe
don't
there's a
know.
connection to like a sewer ooze that is taking over. There's a rat mentor that they have. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And then there was another dream where I was in a very fancy hotel suite party, and like people coming in and out, and like celebrities, and then people I knew. And then all I could do was beg anyone at the party, please go get sushi with me. Just kept asking people, you want to go get sushi? And we were like, yeah, in a minute, I think I could go. And I'd be like, okay, well, just like, are you ready now? Or do you want to?
Well, you are very regimented with your meal schedule. This is nothing new or different.
I get hungry, it's
Like
time to eat.
you're not gonna like threaten her with a meal and then like go, let's just go a little longer. And she'll be like, well, wait, we said we were gonna
Yeah,
have
I actually told
break
my
lunch.
stomach that we were going to eat, and I can't, I can only make that
Right.
one
There's just no
contact.
like pivot. There's no pivot off of that. Like if we say we're gonna break for dinner or lunch at this time, you kind of within a 15-minute range fully expect that to
I
happen.
commit. I commit to that break. Yes.
Yes. Like
Yes.
I can be like go an extra hour or two and Kira be like, no, we said we were going to eat at this
Nope.
time. Yeah.
No,
You
no.
would think it'd be the opposite, but no, she's very regimented with your mealtime. I asked her one time, I was like, hey, do you want to do this during lunch? She's like, well, when am I going to eat my
Yeah.
lunch?
She goes, do you want a podcast like during lunch from the board meeting? And I was like, I don't understand the question. I'm
I
sorry.
gotta have.
I'm going to need to eat. Like I will
I'm
be
like,
eating. I ate during the board meeting. There was like one moment where it went long, like it
yeah,
was
you did.
going
And you were
long,
full
and then
on.
I
You're having
text.
sushi.
No,
Was it
I was having a burrito that Kevin made me,
a burrito? I
and
knew like
and
you got a meal delivered.
and Kevin just like delicately walks in with my plate, and then I put it on mute, and everyone's talking and like
Yeah, and she's
discussing, and I'm
just
just like,
going to town on her dinner. And I'm
yeah,
like, wow. All right. Because you had committed to that
it
time for
was
dinner.
ready. I don't know what to tell you guys. Times are
You know,
tough.
speaking of being ready, so we got a great thank you guys for all the messages and emails and stuff. And I hope we're getting back to everybody. I know we both really try, but thank you guys so much. Got an awesome email from Dawson, our friend
Hey,
Dawson, who
Dawson.
we met at Imaging USA this year. And it was a really great email. And it was a question when I responded to him, I'm like, this is actually something I've thought about and then just as quickly forgot about because, something else comes along or I get distracted, which brings us back to the point. So the thing
Absolutely.
was, how do we kind of compartmentalize and not only digest the amazing amount of information that we're getting right now, which it's been so fun to watch PPA and 3XM with the think tank. And I don't know about you guys, but many affiliates are doing this. And I mean, there's just so many great. I'm sure I'm missing some. All this great information and education, but we're getting all of it. And I'm keeping a little note. I keep my little notes thing open on my computer so I can type sometimes I'm actually part of the webinar and I'm just taking notes. So because I'm getting some great information.
Yeah, you were like on a panel, like a marketing one, and all of you were just like writing
Taking notes.
notes.
Yeah. Alice Taylor Jones is like, I took 6 pages of notes on that panel and I was on the panel,
Yeah.
but it's all these great people. But, what do we do with all of this?
I think there's a tendency to get. I almost feel like you're fresh from convention. Remember that know
Yeah.
that feeling where you
Yes.
take all these notes and you're fresh from like Imaging USA or any other large photographic convention. You've got all these ideas and you want to put them into action and then you don't know where to start. I think that we have this like ongoing amount of that's happening
Yes.
right now.
Very long.
And so, I mean, what I've at least been trying to do is it's the same thing that I always do, which is do one thing at a time. You know what I mean? Try and focus
Yes.
on one thing at a time. So when we're on those marketing panels and everyone shared all those ideas. I did, the marketing stay-at-home series. That was like the thing I took out of all of that
Yes.
marketing talk, And then the next thing I'm working on right now is the video stuff that I wanted to do. So like I've spent some time working on that, and it's taking me days and days and days to do because
Right.
there's the schedule is so different now. But I am trying to be kind to myself that there's no deadline for me to get any of this stuff done as long as I'm working on something that I've picked
Right.
up. How do you
Right.
feel about that?
I agree. And I think you're right. So, I am a big note taker. I love to write notes. It's amazing that I'm actually trying to use the note thing on my computer because that's different for me. But I don't have a lot. I don't have my desk, so it's hard to take notes. And so I'm using that so I can be more, more take up less space here because I have less space to work. But a couple things and we talked about this personally the other day. And I actually had a very nice conversation with our friend Mike Hanline from White House Custom Color today, just checking in. And, the lab is going to slowly start back up. And, they're not up to full speed by any means, but they can reopen just with a very, small amount of staff and all this stuff. And we were just talking and he's like, it's really hard because, we're not engaging with clients and customers. We're not creating per se. We're not like, oh, let's do this fun session or, we're not doing any of that right now. So we got to give ourselves a break that, first of all, if you go and sit through some of these webinars or you get some of this great information, first of all, don't beat yourself up if you're not taking it all in and putting it into action. I think that's the place we need to start.
Yeah.
I think sometimes a lot of people are like, well, I feel frustrated because I'm getting all these great ideas, but I'm just not motivated or I'm not this or that. I think that is beyond normal. And that's the first thing we need to do is give ourselves that break.
I completely agree. I think I was telling you about this comedian that I follow, Tanya Hennessy, who's hilarious. And she's always posting funny videos on Facebook and YouTube. And she posted a video the other day where she was just like, hi, it's okay to just try and get through the day and feel like you're inundated with, I need to be doing all these things. I need to be doing all these things. And then you get overwhelmed with that. And then you feel guilty that you didn't do all those things. And then the day is over. And then now you're sad. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said. Our schedules, I know how, they say like babies get cranky when their schedules are off and, like children, everyone gets cranky when their schedules are off. And it might take longer for that to start setting in. So for adults who have like full grown brains, it could be 3 weeks in and your schedule hasn't gotten back to normal and you're starting to feel like less motivated, you know, and it's the lack of movement, which I am super guilty of because I don't make a huge effort to get out and do stuff, and I need to be, but the lack of movement and the sleep, you're having sleep deprivation, whether you realize it or not. Because your schedule is so wonky.
Yeah. Because you're not, you can stay up later or go to bed earlier. It's just, we're just kind of winging it here. And I'll go as far as to say when we do come out of this, which we know we will, and we will come out of this, it's going to take a while to adjust back to the other side as well. But so that's just what I want to start with because I get mad at myself. I've got like 5 or 6 things in the works right now, and I'm just not really, I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on anything because I'm like, well, why bother? And so I think that's where we need to start. But, I have always treated education like salsa. And I've said this a million times, and you may have even heard it, but treat it like salsa. Take it all in, write it down, and then I'm a big fan of going back and either rewriting or creating some type of a way that you put them into salsa categories. So you have hot, like this is hot. I need to do this right now. Mild, medium, however you want to, but that, it's hot. This is good. I'm liking this. I can see the benefits of this. It's going to bring me, sanity, business, make my life more streamlined or organized. Hot. Medium, that's a good idea. Let me think about that some more. And then the not so much, that mild, maybe that's not for me. Mm-hmm. So, because we write stuff down and we're like, that's cool. And then we really kind of have to retake it in and decide what's actually beneficial to me and my business. Mm-hmm. What's on brand for me and my business? What is it that I can afford to do both time-wise and financially, emotionally right now? Mm-hmm. So just because you hear it and you get excited about it doesn't mean that it's necessarily anything that you're actually going to put into place in your business in the future, because maybe it's not the right fit. I've heard it might not. I hear a lot of cool things and I think, oh, that's so cool. And then I really think about it and I'm like, well, how does that fit with my brand? How does that stay on point to the story loop that I'm opened in my business? How does that, you know what I'm saying? So I think that that's something we need to remember. And my salsa analogy is kind of goofy, but that's just how I've always treated it. I've treated it that way ever since I started going to programs and going to conventions, whether it was my local or my state or imaging or whatever. I've just always found that that was the best way for me to do it. But I think you have to go back and revisit the notes and then decide what goes where, you know?
You do. And see, I have, I'm not a great note taker, but I am a goal setter,
Yes.
So, I have a lot of things. I'll have it. My note taking is more a to do list that I create, and that to do list kind of gets overwhelming. And so, I have had things on my to do list for a really long time. So when this whole thing happened, I was like, great. Now I can really focus in on getting all of my accounting stuff moved over. I can get all this new system, but I'm also inundated with new ideas and new things that I
Yes.
want to do. And so I think it's also okay to take those new ideas, write them down and set them aside and go, but come back to, I just saw that and it's not something, it's something that you were already offering, but I saw the marketing pieces that you put out for it, which is your gallery wall service, like your
Yeah.
curated wall service that you're doing.
Yeah.
This is something that you've been doing and you've been
Yeah.
offering, but I haven't seen at least those marketing pieces until just now. And that's a
Nope.
long-term thing that you've been working on, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. 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 That's something. And honestly, we've been doing it for at least 3 years,
Yeah, you've been doing it. It's just that I just saw some
but
beautiful walls.
we're only doing it for clients because
Hmm.
it's a big job and it's always, it's an investment and things like that. But I thought, well, this is something we definitely can do while socially distancing or while
Hmm.
stay in place, because all people have to do is either drop off their negatives or give me a Dropbox to their files, and we can collect and organize it. And what this is it's a gallery. I call it, it's a wall gallery concierge or gallery wall concierge service to curate all of your images and all of your, maybe you were your grandmother's and they're in a shoebox, or maybe they're just files that live on the cloud or whatever it is. Curate those, put them in a timely order, get them all organized for you, and then pull some for print. So you start that footprint wall or you start that milestone
Hmm.
wall. And I was like, why am I not promoting this? So it became like a drip campaign, and the emails have gone out, and we did a blog and I posted it. And the cool thing is that, it's gotten some great attention, and it's gotten some, and I've gotten business from it.
Hmm.
So, we booked a handful of people that, we're working with and have made a deposit on it, and we're designing. And so that's exciting. That gives me something creative to do, and it gives me something to make, money with. So I
And
think I'll try to put something on the blog about it,
I would love to see,
this week.
because I'm very interested in that project. But also the other thing is, every time you put anything out, even if it's not relevant for every client, and even if you're not thinking I'm going to get 20 clients from that, like
Right.
that one is time,
Yeah,
sucking. You know what I mean? And so
it is.
that's a very curated item for a special client, right?
Yes.
But just the fact that people are seeing your name come forth and seeing these images and seeing all this stuff coming, that it's that top of my marketing. So they like all that press I got for the
Stay at
website.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have clients, not necessarily like widespread pay, participating in this anymore, but I have people contacting me and saying, "Hey, I saw that thing that reminded me. I just got to get on your schedule." Or, "Hey,
Yeah.
I love your attitude about this. I think I do need new headshots." And it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the project that I did.
But
You
they
know.
saw your name and they thought that's cool.
Hmm.
And you got some great PR from it, which is super positive. I mean, that's amazing. And that's what we want to do. But this wall, this gallery wall concierge concept, like yours, I mean, this is something that is so time consuming. I actually kind of was like, I don't know. I mean,
Hmm.
but now it makes perfect sense to kind of work for that business, and get out there. But it also, same thing. I got two emails today, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, thanks for the email. Love that idea. I so need to do that. We need to do that in the future. Hey, can I get on your schedule for June? Can I get, because they're a high school senior or a family, or we do a lot because Hayes is really wired to matching portraits. We
Hmm.
really encourage that 2 to 3 year old or 18-month to 3-year-old portrait and matching the next child, and then that 5 to 6-year-old before the teeth change. We are very much, I've always shouted that message of matching those sibling portraits. We have people that are now going to be 2, 3, 4 months behind matching. So
Right.
they're getting very anxious, and they're very, like you said a couple weeks ago, really like, before you get full, I need to make sure I get in." And I'm like, of
Yes.
course you get priority booking.
That
No problem.
is that is the most positive thing that I am hearing. That's giving me
I
the
love
most
that.
hope, is that I have these clients. saying, I need to hurry up and get on your schedule before you get bombarded.
Yeah.
We have to do the same, like that senior client. We have to do the same thing we did for my daughter last year, and we've pushed
Right.
everything ahead. So can you get it done if we could do it in June? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, so those are very positive comments, and I'm booking them with the caveat that we may have to move depending on what's going on. I have an example of an idea that I saw that I think is a great idea, and I haven't decided where I land on it yet, on me doing it yet, but it was one of those impulse things that I thought maybe I'll
Yep.
devote all of my time right now to marketing this. And it was restorations.
Oh yeah.
I saw it and I was like, oh, well, I could do that. That's something I could work on. That's something you could just send me the file for. I could work on that. I could sell those. I could print them. I could frame them. I could do all that stuff and not have to be in your presence. And then I thought, is that what I do?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's not, I will do it for if a client asks me and it's something I think I could tackle and I want to, but
Yeah.
is that a service I offer? I think that's like a scope creep from what I do. You know what I mean?
It is. No, I don't disagree. But I'll offer you this, and I've thought about this as well. And we will do probably a dozen to 15 restorations a year for clients. Because why? Because we've positioned ourselves as the place to go for anything photographic, right? And even though budget wise, maybe we're not like, that is accessible for everything. If someone's like, I inherited this, or my grandmother died and I have this and I've always wanted this, they're going to come to Jamie or I and say, as the expert, can you help me with this?
Sure.
So I think an approach that you could take with that is, as an expert, as a master, as a certified professional photographer, just so you know, I have the wherewithal, I have the access, I have the expertise to handle these. Because maybe it's something that you offer and you do now, but maybe down the road you still can offer that to your clients, so you're that full service photographer, but you're outsourcing it, because there are a lot of great options for outsourcing restorations these days. We have great friends at Retouch Up, you and I do, and I know they do a great job, and they've helped us in the past with some of our client restorations that we just frankly couldn't handle.
Right.
But could you do that, then oversee it, put the finishing touches on it, print it, or do whatever they wanted with it, have it scanned, whatever it is. But we handle the oversight of it. We manage the job, but maybe not doing the job. So I don't think it's a bad idea, because a lot of people are cleaning out their closets right now. They're cleaning and they're finding things.
And and that's why I bring it up, because it's like I still haven't decided where I landed on. It's not something that would overwhelm me, I don't think, and it's not something that, like you said, I could definitely outsource to Retouch Up later if I wanted to.
Right.
There's also archiving.
Yep.
That people need done. I'm working on my own archiving right now.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of services that we can offer as, like you said, full service that you might not focus on. But I'm just, but what happens is the same. I think this is why Dawson brings up this subject. Such a good topic, Dawson. What happens is I'm in the middle of doing 3 projects right now. And I don't need anything I need to finish them in order to feel like I'm getting something done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's only, with homeschooling in the morning.
Right.
And just being exhausted by the end of the day, I have less hours to actually work on my actual work nowadays, So this is what I mean by cutting yourself some slack and knowing that if it takes you a week longer to finish a project, or 2 weeks longer to finish a project than you thought, just, it's okay. Because it's not like these ideas go away. It's not like you're pouncing on this opportunity because next week it won't be something you can do. You can still do restorations in a month.
Absolutely. Not just that, I think it's also okay to not tune into every one of them. Just because it's free, and just because, oh my God, I love Allison Tyler Jones, or I love Kira, or I love, Tony Corbell, whoever it is, doing something. It's okay, because you know what? Odds are they're recording them. Odds are you can go back next week, next month, next year, and access it and listen to it then. Because like you said, we all came into this with a long to-do list of stuff we really are going to be mad at ourselves if we don't get done. Some of it, like, I might even be mildly peeved with you if you don't get 17 hats.
If I don't get 7, I mean, that is the...
I'm literally going to kind of be mad at you myself.
Me too, dude. So here's the kind of flack that we have to fly through this. So this weekend, for a solid 72 hours, one of my forms, my contact lead forms on my website, was being hammered by a Russian bot. So I have like 300 new leads, and it just trying to sort through it to see if anything actual relevant like came through was really difficult. I couldn't get through to customer support because everybody's working half time and, limited hours and that sort of thing. So I spent time that I would have probably devoted to working on that project to solving this problem that was going to drive me absolutely insane. Because I get text messages when people contact me.
Yeah.
And through my website. And I got it fixed because I can fix those things. But it took some time, to get it fixed. And
yeah, my husband's email was hacked bad in the last week. Like, bad is his company email, and like it caused a lot of problems because it causes distrust in their company, right. And everything is heightened. You and I had this conversation, I think, yesterday. We're all just kind of this close to being like, claws out, hanging from the ceiling at any one moment.
Anything could tip me over at any moment.
Like I could go completely delirious or like as mad as I've ever been, or everything is a slight, and everything is, it's just real close. I'm on the edge. I'll be honest. But, we do have these things, and I'm with you. I don't have the studio management software that I issue, but I have things that I literally know have been on my list. And if I don't get them done, I'm going to be really mad at myself. And Larry Lorsey, our friend Larry in Dallas, he posted something the other day and it made me chuckle. And I thought, oh, it's so true. But it pretty much said, let's face it, if by now if every closet in your house isn't organized, you're just lazy. And I was like, okay, my closets are good.
Don't closet shame me, Larry Lorsey.
But there are things on my to-do list that it's just because I'm being lazy. And it's not lazy.
The closet represents a lot of things.
It does. I can find 75 other things I should do. I'll sit down to do it, and I'm like, well, let me check on my game. Let me check my email. And let me check social media. Oh, I have a call at 1. And then I have to have a snack.
Maybe we should have to have a snack. You know me, I got to have my snack too.
Girl.
Maybe here's some advice that I haven't taken, but I should. There are things that are happening since I'm not leaving the house, right? Mm-hmm. There are things in the house that every time I see it upsets me. Yeah. For example, I received a large shipment from White House, which was great.
Yes.
Huge boxes. And my husband was helping me get them in the house. One fell over and fell in the foyer and scratched the wall. As you know, like, it's all white walls and everything. So it scratched the wall really bad. It's going to have to be repainted. But while we're repainting it, it's got to be repainted in a different finish.
Okay.
Right? So that it doesn't scratch so bad again. That's the main problem, is I can't clean it up because the paint is too flat. Long story short, every time I walk by it, it looks like poop. It's scratched across.
Smeared across.
Yeah, it looks like a smear. It's just cardboard box that it's dirty and fell across the thing, and I know what it is. But every time I pass it, my anxiety and my anger starts to disproportionately get mad. I need to take care of that.
Yeah, because it causes you anxiety every time you see it.
And I see it 50 times a day.
And you will feel so good when it's done. This is the thing, this is when we literally are sabotaging ourselves. Because you're like, I know this isn't that hard to fix. I know how to fix it. I know I'm going to feel so much better when I don't have to look at it anymore. But you know what? Today's not the day. Today I'm going to ignore it. Why do we do this to ourselves?
I don't know. I still feel like I'm working for the weekend still, because now I keep harping on this homeschool thing, but I think a lot of our listeners are probably in that same boat. And it's like, we are being kind to ourselves. Like, we did 2.5, 3 hours of homeschool work today. And by the time we were done with that, I don't want to start a painting project. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So the weekend is when, if I'm going to do it, is when I'm going to do it. But I have to do it, Mary. If I don't do it, my whole next week is in the crapper.
Yeah. I think this is my kids, both of my dear children, who I love so much, have said, not once, but at least a dozen times each, thank goodness we're not homeschooling with Mom. Not Dad, Mom.
Oh, and I've got friends with little babies, and I'm like, oh, you got a little baby there? Is it hard to have to take care of a little baby, to change a diaper? Is that difficult for you? Or are you having a tough time
Oh
caring
my
for
God.
an infant. That sucks.
I know, but you can't put a baby like with an iPad and just say, "Be quiet, baby."
No, but you don't have the teachers of the baby contacting you and going, okay, where are we at today? Like that's.
Where are you, Karen?
Come on, Patty. Poor Patty.
Don't be a Karen.
Oh, her
Plus, I don't have anything against Karen. Sorry,
Oh
Patty.
no. Well, or Patty's. But Lucy's teacher is great, but she called today because they had a scheduled Zoom call to do a group reading session today. I mean, that's where we're at this week. It's new, So it was her and two of her little friends from class that were going to do a group reading session. Well, she had to because she has kids too, and she had to take her kids to her husband's house because she's co-parenting. I mean, her ex-husband's house because she's co-parenting. She was in the car when she had to log into the call. And that's the best she can do. I'm not judging her for it. She's 5 minutes from home. She knows it's time to be on the call. She's the host of the call. She's getting on like she has to. And she's going, guys, I'm sorry. I had to drop my kids off at my ex-husband's house.
Yeah.
The teachers
Because
are
they
really
have kids at home too.
Yes.
Like that's, yeah.
And they're expected to homeschool them in addition to still schooling and still having these meetings and checking in with parents. She said that yesterday she was on the phone all day with parents, just going over lesson plans. And, meanwhile, her kids are like, fighting in the background or,
right.
And as independent as they are, I'm sure they need attention during the day.
I feel for all the families out there, and I know so many are in that same place. And so give yourself a break. I mean, that is something that, many, many, many of us did not choose to be teachers for that very reason. Mm-hmm. Because we're not qualified, trained, or of the disposition to teach. As we not like going and I love to go and share an hour about how I, run a photography business,
about what we do, but I don't
want to talk about science.
I don't do fourth grade math for living.
I barely do third grade math in general. Like math. So I think, Dawson's right. It was a great question, but, get yourself in the mindset that it's okay. Give yourself a break. Don't tune into everything. And if you do, take those notes and put them to the side just like you do any other time you go to anything. I mean, just because we're at home and we're listening to a webinar doesn't mean it's no different than going to imaging, taking all those notes and coming home and you find them in the suitcase 6 weeks later or whatever. Exactly. Like, it's not different.
And keep in mind, too, that I know I can only speak for, the think tank group and PBA. All of those webinars that you register for and that you Zoom, they are recorded and you can go watch them again. And you could even go, hey, how was the whatever, like you could ask if it's worth getting into, you know what I mean? Like, because I have started being more selective about the ones I'm watching. I want to support my colleagues who are giving and everyone has had such great ideas, but I'm not jumping on every single one because I simply can't.
Exactly.
And it's certainly not that I don't want to watch everyone. It's just that you can't.
You can't. There's no way. Which is a great problem to have so much great, but pick and choose. I didn't listen to maybe the one on commercial photography, not because it wasn't amazing, but because it's just not a big part of my business and it's not something for me to focus on. Whereas for somebody else, that would have been the best one of the entire week.
And I would posit that if it's a subject that you're not versed in or that you've dabbled in, but it's not a focus for your business, that all it's going to do is distract you from the ones that have good ideas for the stuff that you already have in place.
Agree.
Agree. And so marketing is the kind of thing that it's going to be good all around. Niche things like how to add, and I'm not knocking it because I certainly do a lot of headshots. That's 50% of my business. But how to add headshots to your business, if you don't already do it, you might want to focus in on the stuff you already do so that you don't go down a rabbit hole. It might be something you save for when the smoke clears and you have time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, PPA had a great one today, a wedding one. Boo-Ray Perry and Rich Newell about wedding competition. But if you're not really into weddings, and if you're not into image competition, that would have been a skip for me. As much as I love Boo-Ray and Rich, and this isn't about the people, like you said. This is about picking and choosing. And another idea, and this just came to me, but I like it. Have a group. Kind of get a little mastermind or online like accountability group that you're saying, okay, this is all the education this week. Well, and divvy it up and then share notes. That's another. Or say, hey guys, that one was a group that you trust. That one was so good. You all should definitely watch the recording. Or these were the nuggets I took away, because I think we can always get something from all this education. These are the 3 top nuggets for me. you know what, I would put that maybe, knowing you and your business, Kira, you could probably skip it or, put it at the bottom of the list. But get a group together to help
Mm-hmm.
you kind of weed through it. And I mean, maybe that would be helpful. I mean, I would love that. Somebody would take notes for
All we
me and say,
have right now is our people we're quarantined with and our online community.
yeah,
So, you know, the lack of socialization is also one of those factors that unmotivates you.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And not to knock anyone's
true.
families, but not socializing with people outside of your immediate family that actually bummed you out. Like physically bums you out, makes you tired, makes you lethargic, makes you not motivated to do anything. So forming an online group with another group of like-minded photographers or even around the country just to check in, just to have a happy hour and just be like, hey, I watched this webinar. You know what, it could be like the book club I was in this book club. And you know me, Mary, I don't read.
I know. I don't
And
even know. Yeah. Who
I
invited you to the
I
club?
don't know. But I met some of my best friends
There
in
you
this book
go.
club, and it was early when I moved to Tallahassee, and I attribute it to having a foundation and feeling like a part of the community here is joining this book club and just going and hanging out and having some drinks. And
I
I
like it.
sat through the talk, and it wasn't super relevant for me, but we didn't spend very much time on
Because
that.
it's a social club.
It's a
Exactly.
social club, yeah.
And a lot of times, if you're in a position like we are, that we love our family, but my family that lives in this house is not in my industry.
Mm-hmm.
So when I complain or want to yammer on about it, it's really taxing for them. Or if you're like us and you over volunteer or you're involved in boards or groups or things like that, you want to talk to other like-minded people. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, and at least in our homes, I can say that my husband's not in photography and he doesn't volunteer for, Virginia PPA or
Mm-hmm.
all these things. He doesn't really
Mine either.
care that much. He doesn't really care that much about image competition.
Mm-mm.
I want to talk to people about these things and I don't have my local meetings every month. I'm not having that. So creating those groups I think is super important. Now, I don't know if they can on the Get Your Shoot Together page, but if you see a webinar and you get some great notes and we could create a space. I guess they could do it on Level Up.
Yeah, you know what? We could totally use Level Up as a space to do that. I welcome any kind of content like that. I've been sharing as much as I can in that
Yeah.
group, So, if you're in the Level Up group, and if you're not, you should be. So go join Level Up with Kara Derryberry, and I will let you in.
We
Um,
threatened to create a Get Your Shoot Together page. It's just Kira already has
I
this
already have
great
this.
page. I also have a Jam Mastermind group
Hmm.
page where we're doing this already. So if you see a webinar that looks interesting, you can post it. And then if you watch it, maybe just share your top 3 takeaways. And then that'll let people know, hey, that looks really great. I need to go back and watch the recording.
Hmm.
Or, okay, cool. I'm good. I'm going to skip that one this week and focus on this.
Do you think it would be helpful? I might put a poll in there too.
Okay.
That would be. I think that's a great idea. So please, yes, if there's a webinar, do exactly what Mary just said. But what if I also put a poll in there that says, are you looking to be matched up with,
Hmm.
a mastermind group? Because I think a lot of people don't. We go to so many conventions, we've met so many people. But if you're in
Yeah.
a space where you don't know as many people, or maybe the people that you know might be directly in your city, and you're looking to branch out a little bit more,
Yeah.
I can start a poll and just ask who's interested in being matched up with some groups.
That's awesome. And
You
maybe
know?
like by if they're interested in and then maybe they comment on I my number one is what's your number, but I think a lot of it has to do with product lines. Like
Mm-hmm.
a really good match for maybe a really good match for my studio would be someone that's not in my market area probably
Mm-hmm.
that really focuses on family and children. Or for my real life studio, high school seniors. Or you
Right.
know what I mean? Or for maybe headshots or corporate or wedding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that helps because you have like-minded businesses sharing on a product line that you really, really focus on. I think that's important. And I know we all do a little bit of everything. Don't get me wrong, but we do have kind of our core product lines, I would
I
imagine.
think so. And some people, like I have colleagues that they do, their sales are not in person. They do basically offer a package, and it comes with a certain thing, and you pay them a flat
That's
rate,
a
and they
good.
get that. I have people who do online, in-person sales. I have people who only do newborns.
Yeah.
Only do commercial photography. And so we could, we'll see how that goes. And again, because I am so low pressure,
Mm.
you know, if you join one of these groups and this works out, great. And if you're like, these people aren't for me, that's all right.
That's it. I mean, because it is. I mean, everybody has a different language in the way they,
Mm-hmm.
communicate, and not everybody's for everybody. And I think that we all can understand and respect that from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that, but I like that idea. And I think, yeah, if you're not a member of Level Up, it's kind of a adjunct to the podcast at this point because we
Mm-hmm.
just used it. It seemed silly to create a new group, and there's lots of great content that Kira already posts, but this could be a great place, meeting place for people to
Meeting place. Yes, please feel
share.
free to use that. Please. I think sometimes people are like worried that they can't post because it's my Facebook group and
Yeah,
maybe that's not what that was about. Level Up is about getting better at what you do.
yeah.
Whether that be the skill of photography, the craft of it, or business, or
Mm,
anything that's going to make you more successful in this industry. So if we're trying to lift each other up, that's what that group is for.
yes.
So if you have something that is relevant, please. If you're trying to teach a workshop, maybe don't. Like, you know what I
Yeah, it's
mean?
not for selling. It's not.
It's not for selling to photographers,
Agree.
but it is certainly for lifting each other up and helping each other out. So if you've got that, then I'm all for it. Post that.
I like that. That's really cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So they know how they can find you on Facebook or find the group on Facebook. But Dawson, thank you for the question. I think it's so incredibly relevant. There goes the dog. I think it's so incredibly relevant. I think it's something we all need to consider, and it's going to become a bigger and bigger issue as we negotiate through this. And we'll see. We just have
We'll
to take
see.
it one day at a time. But
Yeah, we'll see.
anyway, keep sending us all your questions and all your love. We do love it. I'll tell you that. It always brightens my day when I can get a nice email or a message and people are like, "Oh, I listened." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's listening. This is so great."
So I have an idea for some bonus content if anyone is interested. We're gonna sign off from our podcast. We're gonna stop recording in a second, but I'm gonna jump over to the live. I'll leave the live going, and if anybody wants to comment or have any questions, you want to take a couple? I mean,
Yeah, let's do it.
just
We
see
got
it.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
How can they find us, Kira?
Well, if I can get my Evernote up, I can tell them.
Because we still haven't memorized it.
I just don't trust myself. I probably could. Well, Mary, they can follow us on Instagram at Get Your Shoot Together. They can follow us on Facebook at Get Your Shoot Together. You can email us at girl@getyourshoottogether.com. Please keep those coming. We've received a few lately in the last few weeks, and it's been very nice. And you guys can subscribe to us on YouTube and also on all the places where podcasts are found. So we will see you guys next time, those who were listening to the podcast.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, gang. Hang on one second. Mary, I'm going to stop my recording.
All right. I'm not online, so I'm going to pull.
I am going to jump over to our Get Your Shoot Together page so I can see any of the comments that are coming in. And if you guys are still hanging with us for a minute, tell us how you are. I'd love to say hi.
Love to hear it.
And just check in and see if anything resonated today. So here's the thing. Mary and I don't watch the comments as they come in because we get distracted and
Yes.
can't remember what we were saying. So we love that you guys are watching live, but I just thought maybe we could actually chat with you live.
Steve Johnson, stop being cranky. That's enough. But Steve Johnson said, dead on, I'm so cranky today. He's always smiling. That's crazy. And Dawson said, so excited for this. Dawson, I hope we helped. I hope we answered some of your thoughts and questions because they were so great. Like, that was perfect timing when I got that today. I was like, how about this, Kira? And she's like, Dawson's so sweet. Yes, let's
Dawson,
do it.
I got to be honest, if you're still listening, I'm so glad that you suggested that because I was going to go into a real downward spiral about anxiety. And that was the topic prior to you saying that. And I was like, oh, that's so much better. Thank you.
Anthony Torres said, yeah, the homeschooling of keeping the 7 and 4-year-old focused on the day is a lot of time. It's every 5 minutes with something they don't use. Anyway, I can only imagine how that feels. I'm so sad. I'm sorry. I'm so glad I'm not homeschooling. I can't say that enough. Honest to God, I can't.
I know. I feel like I have this group of my high school girlfriends, Wanderlush, as you guys have come to know, and they have a thread where all of them are home. We all have high school, or elementary and middle school age children, and it's just become a running thread of anger of like, mom has quit, or teacher has quit, teacher just walked out of the classroom, teacher.
Child expelled.
Child expelled.
I think Audrey Wakeut sent us something the other day, and that was something like that in there. Like, all the kids have been expelled from school. Teachers are on strike. I mean, I tell you what, appreciation time. coming out of this, our first responders always, but our, the medical industry and people that are still seeing patients. Matt Myers, prayers lifted for you. I saw his post today where
I
he
saw
just
that.
talked about going, and he goes, I didn't get to see any of their mouths, like none of their smiles, but I could see it in their eyes. And, that because he went in to be tested and for the virus, because I know he's been under the weather. And it just really touched my heart. And I can't imagine, we all have friends and clients that are working in clinics and hospitals and offices.
We
And
do, and it's really hard on them. They're scared, and they want
the
to, and they want
families.
to, yeah, they want to work. I have several of the girls that I was mentioning. They are nurses, and
Yeah.
they are stressed out, and they want to do the right thing, and they don't want to not be there, but they also don't want to be there. You know what I
No.
mean? And it's very conflicted
Mhm.
because they're scared. I mean, everyone's scared.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are doing an amazing job. The other people that are doing a great job is the grocery store workers. Those poor guys, they're exposing themselves to all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Um, Poor Whole Foods.
I know your Whole Foods. We had a problem. Our Publix, they actually had a little bit of an outbreak. I don't know if they're still open.
It's going to be hard once it happens. It's going to be
Yeah.
hard to really get it out. Not the Publix that we shop at, but one up the road had several cases of it. And the thing about it is, if once you get a couple of cases, I know everybody knows this now, but once you get a couple of cases, you can't assume that that's it. That it's just
No.
going to be another week or two of seeing that you have more cases.
Right.
And because it takes so long to get that dang test result.
And it's a 2-week incubation period, that's the big thing. 2
Mm-hmm.
weeks is long. I mean, that's my last. I mean, who knows? And I've tuned out a lot of the media. I'm kind of with a lot of people on that. But my understanding is 2 weeks. And that's from doctor friends and nurse friends of mine. They're like 2 weeks. That's what we know. That's all we know right now. Yeah.
Well, if anyone is interested in this, and feel free to message me privately if you want to. But I've mentioned it before. I've seen an online therapist since November, and I'm having a lot of anxiety about the. It's not just the coronavirus, but when you think about it, it is. It's more of like a control issue. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And she asked me last week if I was interested in this coronavirus anxiety workbook. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe probably, I don't know if I'll have time to do that. And then she asked me again this week. And I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and send it over.
Let's give it a try.
Let's go ahead. I'll just take a look at it. It's not horrible, y'all. And it's also it's a free thing that she downloaded from one of her resources that's shareable. So, if you're interested in it, it's just a PDF. I'd be happy to email it to you. I think it's helpful. I think some of it, I'm a real snarky, cynical person. So some of it I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but okay. but also there's some good ideas and there's some good perspective on there. It has like a bubble of things you can control and things you can't control.
Hmm.
And it goes ahead and starts listing things that you definitely can't control, and for me, it's like whether or not people get sick, like I have a constant anxiety about my family getting sick,
Yeah.
and you can't control that. And
No.
so that's, I think that is causing my Ninja Turtle murder dreams is what I'm trying to say.
That does make sense now, actually. Actually.
Does it? So
Because
anyway,
you want to be that superhero, and none of us are. None of us are superheroes. We can't control a lot these days, but yeah, I asked Kira. She sent it over. I looked through it. It's really easy. It's a very
oh yeah, it's nothing
easy
complicated.
read. Yeah, and you take the pieces that are going to work for you, and you ignore the ones that don't. Much like all the webinars and podcasts and Zooms, and
Mm-hmm.
much like all that, you just take what you can. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. I tried to like take Easter in. I was really so obsessed with that Brene Brown quote that I posted. I shared
Yes.
it with the
Mm-hmm.
board. I got like one person said, "Oh, that's nice." But I mean, it really, with me, I thought it brought a lot of peace to me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like last week was a rough week for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this week I'm a little more energized, and I don't know. I think that was a good quote
A good
for me.
reset for
I
you.
think I posted it. I shared it in my email this week when I sent out an email. Yeah, it was a good reset for me. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
I think I went on a little bit of a communication hiatus, like a tiny
Did.
bit. I
I
did.
had to check on you. I was like, hey.
Hey. I know when you text me and you're like, hey, I'm like, oh, I haven't said anything. I haven't really been reaching out to anyone very much in the last week or so, and I think I emotionally just sort of hit a wall.
Yep.
And it's not because any one thing is bad. Nothing has changed. It's just I think like we said, the scheduling thing starts to wear on you, and I think my brain has just started to sort of try. And so I'm working on resetting. I think I am resetting. I think I've got today was much better than yesterday, and
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to be as kind to myself as I can about how I feel every day. You know what I mean?
Yes. And Dawson just gave us probably what we'll talk about next week because it's too big and too important of a
Oh,
conversation.
Dawson, I
But let me give you
see.
all something to think about. So, what are your thoughts on using social media to shift your business model after this is over? I'm wanting to shift from a heavy digital image to majority album and prints. Do I just story brand that aspect through social media videos, etc.? Do I blog? Yes, yes, and yes. I would
Mm-hmm.
say you said story brand, so I hope that you have actually read the book, listened to the book, or considering it.
Or
So you
hang
can
out
go
with somebody who knows a lot
or
about it.
go to mystorybrand.com and start working on the framework for this because it is a different messaging and that framework is going to be super helpful for you for copy. But I have a feeling, Kara, that this is something we could really talk about next week. How do we take all this information and what do we do when we come out of this? How do we handle this? How do we start coming out of it? And what do we do when the end is near? The end of this is near and we're getting close to coming out of it. How do we start reintroducing selling
Yeah,
and
I
a
was going to say, when is it okay to sell again?
because
That's a
we're not
topic.
right now. I
Yeah,
love
I think it's going to be a great topic, and I would love to dive into that. That's what I'm working on now. I'm planting all kinds of seeds with this video if I ever put it out, and it's going to be so underwhelming for you guys, but I think for my clients it'll be impressive.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Well, it's funny because
Studio looks amazing.
oh,
It
thank you.
looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is I'm very, very proud of it and excited
Yeah.
about it and excited to show it off. So that's
Yeah.
the other thing. So I'm trying to build suspense. That's what I'm working on right now. So that'll be part of
Cool.
the reintroducing the studio back into the world,
Yeah.
And so all I'm doing, and we'll expand on when we talk about this, is just constantly posting things from the studio.
Just little things here and there.
Well,
And Dawson, I think that she just hit on something. Just little exciting things coming, exciting and little drops. Like you know how like the teasers on a movie or the teasers, you keep getting this exciting news coming
mm-hmm.
soon. That's what I think would work very well. And then it's just going to explode right when we're coming out of this. And I think when you talk about a big shift like what you're talking about, like shifting from that digital product line to not, I think that when you talk about that from a place of excitement, and this is so great, and I couldn't be more thrilled about it, and this is so much better for my clients, that people start believing the story you're telling because I know you mean it. Like I know you mean it. So
Mm-hmm.
I won't give too much away because I could, I could soapbox this all day long, but nobody wants to hear all that. But that will be a great thing to talk about, and I hope everybody had a nice Easter weekend, Passover, whatever, or just a beautiful weekend.
Just a beautiful weekend making space Easter eggs like I did.
Oh
So
wow. Yeah, you took on the advanced Easter egg situation
I
for sure.
did. I did. I took on it was an ambitious pause kit that
It
I
was.
didn't know that I guess I just haven't really paid attention to the dyeing of the Easter eggs every year. And, usually I just get the kit where you
Yeah.
dunk it in the dye. And this one, and it's because it was sparse because it was the day before Easter and that's how I roll into Publix. But, it was last on the shelf. And I thought, let's
There's a
pause.
reason why.
It's tried and true, right? We know this brand. Like, here you go. It's fine. No, it was a cooking project, is what it was.
They were really pretty. They were very, very pretty.
They were, but they involved a
Yeah.
lot more than I expected. So, and then there was the other aspect
See, I was
of
that
it.
bad mom who just bought the stickers
Did you? Well, this is what. No, you're not a
and
bad
markers.
mom. Lucy loves the plastic eggs. Absolutely loves the plastic
Oh
eggs.
no,
So,
you'd borrow the eggs, but you would put
oh,
markers and
I remember, and
stickers.
markers and stickers. Yeah, and then they had that
Yeah.
shrinky doo ones that you did
Yes.
on those too. Those were
I was gonna
cool.
mess with dye. Good
That's
gosh.
messy. Why would you do
Ugh.
that?
Oh.
The other thing that happened with Easter was Kevin gave me this list that was Kevin gave me this list that was a very detailed list of Easter basket items, and I'm being
Yeah.
quiet now because I just saw somebody walk behind me.
It's Kevin.
Easter. Well, didn't want to give it away for Lucy. Easter basket items, and I read that as a shopping list.
Yeah.
And so I spent $50 at Publix
Yeah.
getting some last minute items. And I basically bought whatever they had, because I was so uncomfortable being in the grocery store and like just trying to get in and out, and the basket overfloweth. It was
Because he was saying, I've already got this,
He actually was
but
saying
don't
he already
get
had those
this.
things. He already had plenty of
Right.
candy. He
Kira
already had.
just left that part off.
I wasn't paying attention. I'll be honest. It's very hard for me. My attention span is shot right
Kevin's
now.
great. I mean, Kevin's that dad. He's like my husband. He's
He's
like,
so
yeah,
great.
dad. Now, actually, my husband, God bless him, my children would never have had an Easter basket without me. I'm the present buyer for sure, but there's so many other things that my children it would have been a terrible fail if it weren't for my husband. But Kevin's like me. He's going to make sure. So Kira just gets that list and goes, oh, I go get this.
Yeah, I was not paying attention. I was like in and out. I didn't even check the list. I didn't even look back at it.
Oh my God.
And make sure that I got everything on the list. I was in such a hurry, such a panicked, frantic, like, I got to get out of here. Here's the pause. Here's the whatever, And so I left there with like, I'm the candy, anti-candy person. I'm the parent who does not like giving desserts all the time. And I'm that one. I'm always the bad guy when it comes to candy and sweets. And I bought all of the candy and sweets.
Yeah.
I just bought them all.
It's Corona Easter. I mean, you have to. But now much like if the tooth fairy accidentally left like a $20 bill instead of a dollar bill or whatever, now you've opened this. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, Kira.
Now we have this we had to hide some of it.
Easter's pretty much Christmas now at your
I've set this
like $100 Easter basket.
So the other thing is that she has general anxiety about these characters.
Yeah,
being in the home. It freaks her out. It freaks her out to think that Santa Claus comes into your house. It freaks her out about the tooth fairy coming into your room and reaching under your pillow. It's very weird.
I don't like it either.
We've taken it for granted, I think, but
we didn't participate in it that much when my kids were little.
I think it's a very normal thing to be concerned about, at home invasion. She's her she's
stranger danger, home invasion.
She's not comfortable with it. She's comfortable with the gifts, but not with the presence of the character. So the Easter Bunny, she wouldn't go to sleep. Lizzie wouldn't go to sleep, and just kept asking and says, the Easter Bunny, like, where is he gonna put the basket? I want the basket, but is he gonna be
leave it at the door?
Come in my room. I had to write a letter to the Easter Bunny. I had to tape it to the door. I had to ask Mr. Easter Bunny, please kindly, we love you and we welcome your gifts, but could you please kindly leave them outside? Just so she could get to sleep. And then she woke up in the middle of the night and we were downstairs. It wasn't the middle of the night. It was like late and she'd fallen asleep downstairs. So we walked her upstairs and she looked outside. She goes, I see the Easter Bunny. I see my basket. And we're like, oh, because she's like knows that it's outside. So she looked outside before she went to bed. And then the next morning she woke up and we said, well, Mommy and Daddy didn't want the candy to stay outside, so we went and got it and brought it in for you before you got up,
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. And then she was like, I saw the Easter Bunny. I saw him put it on the step last night. He read our note. She poor baby. She just can't. She had to sleep in our bed, like she just couldn't wrap her head around it.
It's quite intuitive of her, actually.
It is.
I mean, if you want to be honest, there's really nothing wrong with not wanting some stranger to come into your house.
There's nothing. It's weird. Why would Santa Claus come down your chimney? And what if you don't have a chimney? Does he just come in the front door? Like, what is he? Yeah. Why is the tooth fairy in my room? Why is she touching my bed? I don't understand. What is she doing with the teeth? So we have a deal worked out with the tooth fairy where we mail the tooth fairy our teeth.
Oh, that's smart.
She mails it back. She mails money.
Oh, that's really smart, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's our agreement. And I text her and ask her and just let her give her a heads up. That
Lucy's got a tooth coming.
Just let me know. Just look out for it. The mail is coming.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny? I forget about all those things, because my kids are beyond that. We're in a different space, but they still surprisingly expect all the gifts and all the stuff. Yeah, they don't.
I sure did. As long as you know what I mean. Like my mom really delivered on Easter baskets and things like that. Too. It was a big deal for her.
Until I had kids, and then it was all over.
Yeah. I
was a married woman and still got an Easter basket until the first grandchild arrived. And then it's like I no longer existed.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep. So there you go, Granny. I don't know if my mom probably is not listening to our podcast, but that.
So I'm reading a couple of comments.
Okay.
Jennifer says, my son was freaked out over the leprechaun when I added green food coloring to the toilet. Oh, and then Jim says, as a kid, I always got weirded out about the tooth fairy, of what the tooth fairy did with the teeth. Yeah.
That okay, legit, actual,
Legit
stinking
question.
question. And you know, if we really want to break any of these things down, it's creepy.
It
You
is.
can tell these are super old things that somebody thought was a really great idea so many years ago. And if it were, nobody would create this nonsense in today's time.
I think they're all based on really horrifying original stories from like the 1700s. You know what I mean? From like Norse mythology or something.
From
Like they're
terrible
like
situations.
grim fairy tale, nasty. Like the tooth fairy eats your soul, and every tooth that she takes, like also takes a piece of
Yeah.
you. She owns a
Oh
piece of
my
you,
God, you're
and then
so.
she builds this house out of it. And then if you ever get invited to the house, you can never leave. And then oh, that's what I assume.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, and I can't believe it. I thought for sure I'd hear something about the Easter Bunny and social distancing. Like, they're like, oh, he can't
Well,
come.
everybody's asleep.
This is,
So nobody's, and he doesn't come into your room. I would think the tooth fairy has more of a social distancing issue
yeah, I would think
than
he's not
than the
allowed.
bunny.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. So
So
anyway,
we're
well,
starting off with massacring the
what was that about?
mutant Ninja Turtles, and now we'll end with creepy, grim,
It's.
people that we have allowed into our children's
I'm
life.
gonna be honest. That Ninja Turtle dream really shaped my whole day. Like it's been a real weird day. I can't, because I've been analyzing it and analyzing it. Like I understand what the vacation
Yeah.
superhero parting Moses parting the water.
But I
I
wouldn't
understand.
get to be on a beach in Mexico right
I
now.
know, but I understand that dream. I
Yeah.
understand that dream. I also know that I watched Bear Grylls go through these Arizona canyons where he talked about flash flooding, like somewhat close to
Okay.
when I had that dream. So like all of that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right.
The hotel party, so where I wanted sushi, that's because I miss going to parties and eating sushi. That's pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
It's probably a
Um,
meal, something like a second dinner or
it was
something
probably
situation.
yeah, like a meal. Like I have meal dreams. And then, but this one I just can't seem to break down, and I would love to hear your thoughts.
We'll see
Anyone?
what our friends think. Maybe they have some really, maybe we got some good dream and analyzers out
Dream
there.
analyzers. So
Yeah.
just so everyone knows, gets the full picture. I'll be brief if you missed it in the beginning of the episode. I had a dream that upon like entering the dream, I was murdering the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles very brutally, and I also had to dispose of their bodies. I put them in bags, like garbage bags, and
This is
it's
horrible.
horrifying. And then it was also at this took place at a boy's house that I grew up with named Joseph Moore. It was in his home,
Mm.
and he was the first boy I ever had a crush on.
Mm.
Discuss. Like, what does that
Well, maybe
mean?
what you killed and hacked up and threw away was our second quarter sales. I'm going to go with that's dead and done. I don't know what your first crush has to do with it. I'm going to be very
Why was it in
honest.
his home? Why was he there
I
to
think a
assist?
letdown because it was a letdown because probably really crushed on him. That was a letdown. Our second quarter sales are dead. Dead, dead,
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, he was kind of, I mean, yeah, I guess in the long term. I mean, like not
I
in the not as an adult, he's a nice person.
no, I'm
But
sure.
like in the fruition of that relationship,
Yeah.
sure. That was a
Yeah.
letdown. And then um it was in his home. Like, what does that mean? Was his home like a dark place? Did terrible things happen there? I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't think any of us know the answer to
I had
that
a
question.
wonderful childhood. I don't really understand what the like I can't
Yeah.
complain. I had a great neighbors and friends and fun times.
Yeah. Well, if we have any listeners left, maybe after that, maybe someone will give you some insight on that
If I can't be
awesome dream.
myself on this
Oh,
podcast,
nobody would want you to be anything else. Trust me. I would not have this podcast if you weren't yourself. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I
all
don't think either
right.
one of us
Well,
would.
maybe we'll leave you guys with that beautiful nugget
But
of my
that
mind.
beautiful, uplifting.
Just a little insight into where I'm at emotionally, and then and then if you have feedback, if you're really good at dream analysis. I know my friend Linda Long is good at dream analysis. She's very good, and my girlfriend Sarah that I grew up with, she's very good at it too. So I may run those past them.
Yeah. You should.
See what they think. So
Yeah,
anyway,
you should set that dream free for sure.
I
Let it go.
have. I've released it into the world. I don't know what it means. I'd love to know. It's probably going to mean something terrible. But I do think I did read these articles that just says that everyone's having very strange, very vivid dreams, and it's very normal because everyone's cycle is off.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me. Well, that was fun.
We're going to say.
Good luck.
All right, friends. Well, thank you guys for hanging in there. We had about 15 to 20 people hanging out here for our little after party, so that's fun. Thanks. Maybe we'll do this more often if you guys like it, and at least during COVID times. COVID times is what I'm calling it now.
Yeah, COVID times.
COVID times. I'm doing things for COVID times that we wouldn't normally do, like subscribing to wine.
Mm-hmm.
Wine
Yep.
delivery. So, whatever you got to do to get through it, right? Okay. We love you guys. Thank you guys for paying attention to us for a little while. We do need just a little bit of like social interaction. This is good for us.
Yes, it is. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you later.